All right, hi, it's Jessica and April from A New Moon and Sacred Roots. We're going to talk about this week's energy. We have already pulled our cards on it. We'll spend, and then we're going to also talk about some of the new stuff that we've been doing. So let's go ahead and start with the new stuff before I go into the astrology.
So we're releasing some products, and our first release product is a kit for the Taurus full moon, and we have 3 items here. We have some Palmarosa and rose quartz soap. You can see there's rose quartz right in there. We have the rose quartz bracelet, and then we have the moon milk lotion, ylang ylang, correct? So those 3 items are available for purchase as a kit. We'll be having more come out, but this is our first one.
Okay, what was the intention the ritual that was going to come with it, and what we were suggesting that you do with it to work with the full moon?
So we worked with rose quartz, which is all about unconditional love. So we really focused on both unconditional love for yourself and unconditional love for another. And so a lot of the intention with this is clearing out the anything blocking the heart space, and then allowing us to refill our heart space with the things that we want to draw in our heart's desires.
Yes. We'll put links below to our individual websites where you can purchase this as a kit. So we'll have a certain amount available as a kit that our intention is that you would do, the ritual with it. But then we will also set some aside so that there will be some that will be available for individual purpose. Our goal is to have one started at the full moon, another one at the new moon, and then there will be different rituals and intentions to go with each segment that goes with what's going on with the astrology, what's going on with those signs, what can be done energetically within you. Put those over there. So going into the astrology this week, and then the next 3 weeks, this 3 week segment is a big deal. And even the prequel of what we were talking about with the new moon in Scorpio. 2 weeks ago, the new moon in Scorpio was cleansing us. It was revealing stuff to us. We were putting out these seeds of intention. And now when we come to a full moon cycle, this is where those seeds have sprouted, and you're starting to see the manifestation of whatever it is that you were intending. Now there's different cycles. There's our 2 week cycle that we have where we set, and then the full moon, the opposing sign, brings in what the new moon sign was. But there's also a 6 month cycle. And the reason why I'm going to talk mostly about the 6 month cycle is because there was think back into your life of what was going on and what you were intending around May 4th, May 5th time frame. That was when when the new moon in Taurus happened. And so now we're getting a huge culmination with this full moon in Taurus. Now the reason why I'm going to go into a little bit of depth, and April's going to talk about it as well, is when we go through these signs like Sagittarius or Gemini or Taurus, the significance of the sign that it is how these manifestations take form, okay? So typically, like something in Gemini, you're going to manifest the thoughts to get you to how to do what it is that you're trying to culminate, right? Taurus, and the reason why this sign is for manifesting purposes itself is so important. Taurus is the sign of manifesting things into a physical, tangible reality. Taurus rules Earth. It is ruled by Earth. They say that Venus rules Taurus. It's a secondary energy. Really, Venus rules Libra. Yep. And Earth truly rules Taurus, because Taurus is what brings things into physical reality. It's a physical sign. If you break it down into a metaphysical, scientific energy versus the bull, it's what brings us in physical form. It's matter. So as you've been working and as you work within the energies over years and years and years, it's when Taurus full moon happens so we have to go through Scorpio, right, to shed all of the stuff and to transform our identity or our reality to receive when the next one comes in Taurus to actually get the thing, right? So what we've been doing is we've been transforming everything through all this Scorpio energy, and this potent energy of tomorrow's full moon in our 11/11 portal gate that they talk about. This is all about within the masculine, within Mars being in Libra. This is all about relationship. Okay, so what did you want to talk about the moon more?
So we talked about at the new moon how the new moon is when the sun and the moon are at the same degree position. So that's when we cast our seeds, set our intentions, and then the full moon is when on the full zodiac wheel, 365 degrees, where the sun and moon are exactly 180 degrees opposite each other, opposing each other. So the whole idea, that we have the werewolf at the full moon, that people get crazy at the full moon, is because of these opposing forces. So because the sun is actually opposing what is being emotionally drawn up out of you based on where the moon is, that's why we can have these challenges arise where people can get fussy because we are literally dealing with these opposing forces that we're feeling, and that can be challenging for us. And so that directly has to do with this axis of the north and south node, and how we're coming from one looking at another and traveling there. So at the new moon, we were in Scorpio looking out at the Taurus moon. So you can think about Scorpio being the seed is placed in the earth under the ground. So it's dark, it's damp, it's a scorpionic place. And then as the scorpionic work happens and that transformation of the seed, transforming into the plant, then it transcends through the earth and then comes up and then is in the sunshine and in the earth. And that is that more Taurasian sort of experience of being in abundance. There is growth, there is beauty, there is sunshine. So the work that we have been doing from the new moon is really helping us burst forward into this, new formed plant.
Mm-hmm. And that's how, I don't remember who I was talking to this week or what video I was watching, but it's thinking about yourself, your body as a physical plant. If you were to put a plant that needs heat and a dry environment into an overly moist, humid environment, that plant is going to wilt and not be able to survive, correct? Mm-hmm. But if you put a plant in its thriving environment, it's going to grow, it's going to be big. So it's in that idea of manifesting as these moon cycles go, it's that ability to continuously water that plant, but also how that parallels in us being human plants is if you're in an environment that is not good for your plant, you're going to kind of wilt down, where if you're in an environment where it's encouraging and, there's love and all of these things, and you feel boosted and allowed, then you're going to thrive and grow.
Yeah. Now we have a live question about, is it a good time to make major life changes?
Yes. Right now but it's very much cued in the idea of using your intuition, and that's where what she was saying and how I brought that into how you feel. It's notice what, and I think it even comes up in our reading, is notice how something is making you feel. If it's a positive, if it's something that's bringing positivity into your life and you want to change it, then absolutely. If you're needing to make a choice and you're going backwards or moving back into an environment where time and time again, it's not been a positive experience, then I would say let's not make those kind of changes. So yes, if you're making changes towards positivity, even if it's unknown, I would choose, based off the astrology, I would choose unknowing versus going back to a repeated cycle, expecting that repeated cycle to change.
It kind of works with the Scorpio Mercury retrograde that we've been experiencing. Whatever all this stuff that has been revealed to us because we are intentionally going to be making big life changes.
Yes.
So all this reveal and all this scorpionic work underneath, in the dirt under the surface where that seed, first grows its roots, all that work is so that we can burst forth with this this new growth or new life change. And when does the actual Scorpio retrograde end?
Scorpio retrograde. So I'll come back here. The next 3 weeks, and why it's a big deal, is today we have the Sun conjuncting Mercury, which is a very rare occurrence. So the Mercury is the closest to the Sun, correct?
Yep.
So it's going to have that most bam. And Mercury is communication, Sun is our path. So there's going to be a whole lot of clarity about the path that you're going.
So extreme clarity.
Yeah, and you've been going backwards, realizing why not, or what needs to be revised. Now Mercury going forward is going to be enhancing the communication. Where communication was blocked, that blockage is just going to be gone, and there's going to be clarity being seen. Tomorrow's full moon is releasing physical things in our lives to take on this new path. You're going to see the opposing yin and yang of the duality. Mars is in Libra, so you're going to see this duality of up versus down, I guess is how it's showing me. Next week, the other big thing is the masculine energy in our collective has been very on the fence about things. As soon as Mars, our masculine energy, Mars rules our forward motion, moves into Scorpio, a fixed sign. So we're taking something that was very cardinal and very left, right, up, down, yes, no, I don't know, and putting it in now I know. Now I know.
I'm getting the image of, so you're talking about the plant, right? Taurus is like a plant. It's like the way that Scorpio and Taurus is working is you see your plant weeping or whatever's happening to it, and we rip it up and we look at what's going on with the roots and we realize there's a root disease or there's too much water or there's not enough water.
There's not enough water. Yeah. So what in your environment is creating that symbolism in your life of why your flower might be wilting? Do you have depression? Are you what are your symptoms? Or are you, and then what kind, being conscious of what literal soil, Taurus, does your plant need to be put back in so that you feel like you're being nourished? And then, you have a plant in a room where it's being all the right elements, you don't even have to tend to it too much, if you grow outside versus in a conditioned environment. So then on the 20th, we have Mercury going direct. So again, now the masculine's made his choice. Venus is already in a sign where it's fixed, so she's already made her choice. Now the masculine's going to make his choice. Now we're going to move forward with it. Then the Sun moves in Sag, so we're all going to be inspired about where we're going in our future. We're going to be looking at things from a big perspective again. And then next week, Venus moves in Capricorn. So then the feminine is all right, where's your to-do list? Let's get this stuff done. Then we get a new moon, and then Neptune goes direct. Now, why Mars, Mercury, Sun, Venus, Neptune are all important is because when Neptune comes direct, this is a planet that's very slow moving. It went retrograde last April, so there's a lot of stuff going on this week about what was going on in your life in April and May of this year. Think back to it. Where did you go? Who were you talking to? What happened in your life? Because when Neptune, you have been putting there's this savings account of manifestation up in the universe, and with Neptune direct, you've been very internal about these dreams and stuff that you want to create as a reality. Well, when Neptune goes direct, it's shaking the bag out, and Taurus having this full moon, it's now we're going to get the physical things that we need to carry out these dreams and move forward.
So in regards to that question, I would definitely say that based on what you are saying, that this last week and then going into the 27th of November, that would be a very powerful time to make major life changes. All the astrological energy is supporting that. But
think about it up at least until the 20th of the month, that now it's still just an idea. You're working it out. I wouldn't, when Mercury is in retrograde, we don't sign contracts. We don't, do these things, we don't make major life decisions, because there's typically going to be all these things that need to be worked out before the literalness comes in. So when you're in a retrograde time, let it be an idea. Let it be like, oh, I would like to go do that, or oh, I would like this. Make a plan for it, revise it, but don't literally go do it. Because once Mercury goes direct, you're probably going to have to go back and start figuring stuff out again. So yes, but I wouldn't really take any action on that until after the 20th of the month is where I was going. Okay, I'm going to go in real quick on just briefly on what's going on this week. The main idea and the theme of this week is we're still in Scorpio, so we're still in the swamp. We're still kind of going through things, transforming things. People are not necessarily speaking their truth yet because of the Mercury retrograde. They're more feeling it. Okay, Scorpio is like, I feel this. It's a water sign. But the choices that you're going to be making over the next 3 months, they're permanent ones. They're cycles that you're taking into your life that you're going to be working through for the next 29 years. So if you're committing to someone, if you're committing to a situation, if you're committing to this, you're going to be repeating these cycles to refine them over the next 30 years, okay? So what you're willing to tolerate and intolerate is very important right now. The moon is going to go through Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Today is all about commitment, personal projects, clarity, positive ideas, balance between spiritual and material. It's a very good energy. There's Venus in the North Node, so you're suddenly going to see the value of something. It's very optimistic. Tomorrow we have the full moon, and so again, there's another commitment energy. It's a very busy energy. Tomorrow is about embracing your personal power, expressing yourself, looking at your true intentions, knowing your motives, knowing what's not working in your life. Your intuition is going to be heightened. Confidence and optimism are going to be like very prominent. Then the moon, on Wednesday, the moon moves into Gemini, and that's where with Gemini energy, it's insights, fast, lightning speed insights, and very busy energy. That's where you're going to start to intuit, gather the information about what the dream is, and you're going to start to work on a plan. Because of some of the stuff like the Neptune and everything like that, there's in the Venus aspect and the Mars aspect, there's some confusion within relationships. Notice where you want to escape from someone or something. Like, I just can't be around this person, or it's intolerant for me to be in this partnership. That's going to be very heavily amplified on Wednesdays. Where are people making demands on you versus working with you? Notice where you want to demand somebody else do something. It's a control aspect. Okay, you're going to see control dynamics on Wednesday. And Gemini is very much like, bloop, nope, you can't control me. On Thursday,
Escape artist.
The magician.
Yeah.
Of course I would do. So Gemini is like this energy of somebody may offer you something, and it's like this feeling where it's North Node stuff where it's like, yes, like you're going to have this feeling of saying yes. Or notice what comes into your life that you want to say yes to. And then there's an aspect of adjusting relationships, and this is a separating aspect. So the first beginning of the week is more positive. As we move into the back end of the week, you're going to start to see like what you don't want. So as the full moon is releasing, we got to start letting stuff go, right? Well, it's physical things that we're letting go. Like, I'm going to sell that car. I'm going to sell this house. I'm going to get rid of this relationship.
I'm going to put my boundaries down.
I'm going to put my boundaries down. Taurus is all about boundaries.
I think that if we're not releasing the things we need to release, that Spirit is directing us to, this back end of the week can feel more challenging because
like
it's really trying to get our attention. Like, okay,
red flag,
you didn't
red flag,
listen
red flag.
to the red flag, so now I'm going to make that red flag bigger and bigger and bigger until it gets your attention.
It's like ignoring the check engine light on your car and then
Yes.
being really upset because the car broke down on the side of the road.
Yes.
Well, we were telling you the whole time.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is going to show you where your relationships in your life are not working. Okay, those people, places, things are magnetic. Situations are going to be drawn into your awareness. Who are you partnering with? There's going to be there could be some confusion because Neptune has a transit that day where it's like you see these different relationship dynamics and you're like, should I go here? Should I go there? Like, trust your intuition, heart chakra, rose quartz kind of stuff. Friday, the moon moves into Cancer, so you're going to feel more emotionally driven, and there's going to be the North Node is there, and you're going to have this tendency of, I want to go where it feels like home, what feels like I'm being nurtured. Like in these relationship dynamics, we're going to see the duality of them. This one feels like home to me, like it feels comfortable, nurturing, and I love it. That one feels like, makes me feel like I can't breathe, I can't move, like it hurts. So we're going to see that dynamic. So there's going to be struggles, difficulties, a hard time concentrating maybe on Friday. Your thoughts are going to feel scattered because anytime that we let something go, there's an uncomfortableness with that, right?
Well, it's like change always comes in hand with chaos. They kind of come together. So it always sort of creates this like chaotic thing, and this experience of chaos, but they really work together. So the feelings are normal. We resist change as humans.
And it's going through, we've been talking for the past 2 years of like, and it ebbs and flows when it comes up into our verbiage, but it's like long suffering.
Yeah.
Embrace, and then another friend of mine said, embrace the suck. It's like sometimes.
It's a military saying.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing is it's like, it's not always sunshines, rainbows, and unicorns, even though in the spiritual community we want to believe it's all Pisces and Taurus. But sometimes it's Scorpio and Capricorn and all of these kinds of energies too. Aries, like we're gonna have some more up in here. But so it's like the last end of the week, things are going to be shown to you, and think about it. I posted on my personal Facebook page earlier this week of like, it's a transit. It's not your whole life. So it's a transit over the weekend of showing you, step back from it, be an observer of your environment. So Saturday and Sunday, the energy is still in Cancer. So you're still going to be seeing like and yearning for what feels like home. The North Node is with the Sun. So you're going to see a lot of faded choices this weekend. You're going to go left or you're going to go right. And the feeling could be, a little bit of a struggle. But there's going to be stuff that comes in on the back end. So you're going to have this struggle. And then there's stuff that comes in on the back end that's going to help you feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more optimistic. Can you touch on, and then real quick, and then I'm going to ask her to talk about something. Sunday is also a little stressful and there's struggle energy. So when we were in yoga teacher training, and I feel like you're going to be able to explain this better. Like we were talking about the duality of like being able to push and find that delicate balance where there's no struggle. So, but it's like the chaos theory where it's like you're going through this and embrace the suck. Like you're here, but like you get through it. But you have to have that. You were talking about it in the beginning where it was like this duality of the pulling up and pulling down at the same time, but in the middle there's this like struggle of the energy going in opposing directions.
It's like the Libra scales, where on the polarity of, if we're going to go with the context of Taurus and Scorpio, coming from the Scorpio new moon, coming into the Taurus full moon, it's this balancing. We're not going to want to stay weighted into that Scorpio and keep analyzing under the earth, because it's time to come out of the earth, but we can't be all the way in the, if you think just about a plant in general, like there's an equal amount of roots to an equal part of,
growing up towards
canopy.
The sun.
So there's that equalness, and then if either of that gets out of balance, so if a root disease comes and half the root system dies, then all of a sudden you notice half the canopy dying. You don't even know the root system's half dead.
So that's where we have to get to the root of the situation and using your intuition and noticing how Taurus, this full moon, you're going to feel the environments that aren't good for you. Like you're going to feel it like in your physical body.
Okay, so now I get where you're going with that. So in the teacher training concept, it was we always want to come to our edge. So you don't want to shy away from challenge. Like like facing these challenges is going to show you really important information that you need to know to go forward in your future. So if this challenge, you know, you're coming upon this challenge
You're gonna
and
see
then
the
you
root
just
of the problem.
you Gemini escape it and you just walk away, you won't get the information. So you have to step up to the challenge.
Go through the stuff.
You know, not necessarily go through it with, you know, an Aries warrior energy, like, well, I'm going to destroy this challenge. Just like, I'm going to look at this and see what this is about. So that's kind of the edge of like, not too much, but, you know, not enough. Between like, I'm going to face it, but I'm going to sit back.
And observe it at the same
And observe
time.
it. It kind of goes along with what we were talking about, boundaries. You know, having a healthy boundary can be challenging because sometimes we're like, we're gonna have boundaries, and it's like, I have this boundary, and
it's too much,
super aggressive, and people are like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to be around you. Then that's too much.
Like, I can't sit on the couch. I can't wear my shoes in the house. I can't.
Right.
Like,
And then if we don't have enough boundaries, then we're just letting people trample us, and we're building up that emotional resentment that eventually will lead to some sort of, you know, eruption of emotion. So it's again this balance of, you know, enough but not too much.
and to go through the communication of it.
Yeah.
Because I also think that things are coming to the surface that, and Mike talked about it in his daily astrology, that things are coming up that you don't want to see necessarily, but you should think it as a blessing, right? Because you would not have made, even though that knowledge of knowing something hurt or you didn't like it, now you know, and now you can make a plan to go forward. So it's like, even though and how we work in the law of manifestation, or even just in the spiritual community, is when stuff comes in, you are grateful. Even though it didn't feel good, you're still grateful for it because it shifts your path into another direction.
The gratitude.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let the dogs out for a quick second while you start.
Yeah, so there's a lot of this going on where things are being revealed to us, and they may be hard to see. And there are some people who are very tempted to, you know, put their blinders on, you know, ostrich, put the head in the sand, just kind of look away. But we're really missing the information that's so critical for these major life decisions. Like our viewer asked, yes, these big life decisions are coming up. And you want to make sure you're going to get on the right boat that's going to, and what I mean by right boat, I mean the one that is going to bring you that heart space fulfillment.
Which is why we chose rose quartz for our full moon kit.
Yes, is all about, you know, cleansing the heart space, getting rid of any of the barriers, and then drawing in what we really do want.
You gonna go into your reading?
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to cover?
Nope, I think we're good. So I'll start off at the top, what I started with. So I get a celebration card, actually, so with the moon card. And this moon card, specifically in this full moon in Taurus, we have a bowl, and then we have a crane flying over at the full moon with the water here. And I feel like the reason they're giving us this celebration with the moon is because we've been doing some hard work and going through some like really mucky, swampy water that's not been fun. So there's some sort of like encouragement to keep going through this. You know, we're not completely out of it yet. We still have till the 20th till Mercury goes direct. So there is a little bit more to go through. But there's just some sort of encouragement with this. And then the third one I get for the overall, we're starting with, it's a time to give rather than take. So it's kind of, again, back to that balance of both sides of the coin. Like, okay, you know, give yourself a hug, give yourself a pat on the back. You've been doing a lot of hard work, but we're still going to be working.
I posted that meme. It was like, you still have 7 karmic relationships and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it sounds terrible. So that's what I get for starting us off here.
Okay. And then how I parallel that with the theme of what's going on for this week is I got 2 animal cards, and one's not an animal, it's a dragon. So it's a very mythological, strong energy that comes through. So I'm going to read that one to start because I feel like that's more spirit. Dragon is a supernatural energy. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destination. Rise with dignity. And with that I get is that at any time do you get the choice to make a different choice to make your life better. You are the shapeshifter. It's not literally like this you know, what I can't, it's not coming to me. But it's like rise with dignity. Doesn't matter what's happened in your past. So maybe that's why the South Node is South Node, North Node is stuff that keeps coming up. It's like no matter what has happened in your past, you always have the choice and the opportunity to create change in your life. You just have to choose to do it. It's not something somebody else can choose for you. And then I get, and I just said that, and then I get partnerships. I get the puffin. Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy. Let your community nourish you and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. I feel like that's that Mercury aspect. There might be somebody in your life that you have been wanting to communicate with, wanting to take the mask off. That came up a lot this weekend, is taking that mask off. Where have you been wearing a mask in your life recently that you need to reveal your true identity? And at any point, you have the power within yourself to make that choice, to shift your life into a different direction. You're only limiting yourself because you're allowing. So I pulled what I want to pair. Will you get out your moon card for a second? Oh, dogs.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't let your pride get in the way. So it's like, why are you not making the choice to go left instead of continuously going right and doing the same cycles over and over again? Within relationships, like where are you allowing your pride to get in the way? And then April got, it's a time to give rather than to take in the same card. And then now look at the bigger picture.
These are a lot of the same cards from, was it the Scorpio new moon that we drew that one? This one specifically.
And this one.
So there is some very strong links between that new moon and this full moon, and what we were manifesting and now what we are, getting ready to push through the earth and really transform. Yes.
And then to validate that, we get the Strength card, which is a number 11, by the way, for our day of 11/11. And what this says is strength. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments and forgiveness and compassion. Same thing, the rose quartz. Don't let your pride get in the way. Know that you can shift your environment at any time. And how are you letting your community and your partnerships affect you? And how are you affecting your community and your partnerships? I'm going to go let the other dogs in. So
so that, look at the big picture coming in. As a clarifier for not letting your pride get in your way, looking at the big picture, you're going to realize that your pride's really not going to serve you, nor is it important in this situation. So going deeper into the reading, I'm now going into what I like to call the middle realm or the earth realm, the things that we are currently dealing with here and now. At the center of the reading, if you remember this from last week, we do have the 10 of Swords again. So some sort of defeat, and I am getting that this is in an emotional aspect of something that we are, a relationship that's not working out, a job that's not fulfilling us, an argument with somebody, maybe, a parent, a sibling, a friend, somebody very important to us, a dream that's sort of dying away, something that we're very emotionally, like, we feel this sort of defeatedness, like I'm not sure what to do now. Everything I was working for just seemed
the victim.
Very good point. A victim mentality of like, I can't do any right, nobody will love me. Just this complete defeat. And the clarifiers I get for this, I get relaxation on its side, meaning that we are unable to relax because of this feeling. We're not giving that to ourselves. We're not allowing ourselves, almost like I get in this as like we're in some ways like playing the victim role and not even allowing ourselves to get to that. This guy is, hanging out on his hammock reading a book. That looks like it's a real good time. Like we're not even giving that to ourselves for whatever reason. And then the other one is to seek your destiny, and this one does have the fox in it. Seek your destiny. So it's like we've given up because of this defeat. We're not relaxing. We're not giving ourselves that soothing. We're not even looking at what we want in our destiny because we're so convinced we're defeated.
And that we can't.
And that we can't. Yeah, there's just this like very defeated. I mean, you can see this guy. He's all torn up, right? Like that's the feeling we have of like we are in shreds. Like we're not even a whole being.
sometimes it's hard to pull ourselves out of the mud when we feel like that because we don't have the strength to, and that's where the embrace the suck kind of comes in. It's like sometimes you have to go through when I was running marathons, it's like mile 18 sucked. And it's like you had to get through mile 18 to get to mile 26.2. And you couldn't give up at mile 18 even though you wanted to.
The second one I get is this is on the left side of the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords being sort of like the main thing going on here, and then these effects here. The Seven of Cups there's all these decisions all around us, and there can be an excitement in this. There's all these things that we can do, that we can want, that we can experience. She does look excited.
That's Neptune going direct, baby.
So there's an excitement for opportunities and options, but there also can be, because the other card I got on the other side of that is the Two of Pentacles reversed. So there can be sort of this overwhelmingness of like, there's so many things, there's so many, like I'm juggling so much, just like anxiety, like too much.
What comes to me as you're talking about that is in Mike's video today, he was talking about when you're dealing with Pluto and transformation, there's consequences.
Oh, yeah.
And so this could
Definitely.
be like, as you're choosing one direction versus the other, there is casualties, there are consequences to your actions where it affects other people. And maybe that's why he's so worried, is like he sees all these consequences from his choice. Like, let's say you're even leaving a job, and it's like you're going to let your employees down. You're going to let, by leaving, but this is a better opportunity for you.
Yeah, and you see that he's got these cups, these like sailboat cup things in the water. So, there's some sort of emotional thing going on here, and they're sailing away. So I think there is something of like, did I miss the opportunity? Am I going to miss the opportunity? Getting nervous about, I got to make a decision so I don't miss the opportunity. And like Jess said, there could be, okay, I take this opportunity. How do I affect my family? How do I affect my job?
If this job pays less money, like my family's going to have to make a sacrifice, but I'm going to be more happy.
Right, and this really screams the Gemini energy, of this constant, like just in the hamster wheel in the head, just overthinking.
And feeling victimized. I have to keep this.
And so the clarifiers I get for this is solitude, so to take some time alone, away, and I don't just get like solitude as in like him going fishing alone, but like solitude from some of those thoughts and ideas. Like take a break, like we said with the Ten of Swords,
from the hamster wheel.
Yeah, definitely take a break from the hamster wheel. Like take some time to just do something that you enjoy, to relax, to separate from overthinking everything
and not feel guilty about it.
Because what's underneath this that is upside down hiding is potential. Potential is reversed under this. So if we don't take this time to separate ourselves from all the thoughts and the chaos and the opportunities, that potential could be stagnated.
Well, you might not even be able, because when I was talking about in astrology this week, there's all this confusion going around. It's like when you write a paper and you step away from it for a minute and then you go and read it again, you notice that like there's these different things there. So it's like if you take a step back and you come back to it, you might see the solution. But if you're constantly in that state of panic or frustration, you're not seeing a solution because you're too busy being upset about it.
Yeah, you're focusing on the what if, instead of seeing like the critical piece of information that keeps going by. Like spirit is like, it's like going by over and over, and you're just like so focused on everything else.
The sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling.
The third card I get to clarify is we are all connected, and there's a lot of symbolism in this. Starting with the top of Justice read, there are 2 dragons in there. And then there is this sort of spiral going on, like the double helix. And there is a sun and a moon, so also with that opposition of new moon, full moon, the nodes, the yin and yang. There is the owl and the wolf with a butterfly. So the owl being like the Scorpio seeing in the night, the butterfly transforming things, and the wolf goes out to do the earthwork. So there's a lot going on in this. So it's kind of like what this anxiety is causing us is we're like separating from the actual potential, that it's not necessarily like a right or wrong decision. Like it's all in this helix that it's all going to come back to where you're supposed to be no matter what choice you take. So stop overthinking the choice.
It's just a different experience.
It's just a different experience. So that really, it's more important to just make a choice, not necessarily the right choice. You know, it's not necessarily black and white.
Taking one time. So again, that yoga philosophy, and this keeps coming over and over again, is that the finding your edge.
Yes.
You know.
So I said something about the Seven of Cups, but then I ran over to the anxiety. So the clarifiers I get for all these options that cause all that sidetrack of anxiety is that there is change on the horizon, and we know that. And there may be a lot of opportunities and options, and underneath the change is security. So this change could affect our literal security. So like Jess was saying, if it has to do with finances, if it has to do with, a location where you live, even if it has to do with a partnership, a partnership could give you security, or the lack of a partnership maybe could give you more security depending on where you are in that spectrum. And then I get a third one, let two become one. Again, so there's this, this is sort of like the Lover's card in the actual tarot.
The divine masculine coming into unity.
Yes, what I'm getting with this is that like just allowing things to marry together or to partner together as is natural, like not forcing things. Again, I go back to the clarifier on the other side of how, if we just release, we're all going to end up at this space, at this tree of life at the top with the magic of the dragons all around us. Either choice we make, we're going to end up here in this space. So just like let two become one is just really, I'm getting to allow that partnership or that job or that opportunity, like to come to you. Stop seeking it out in this anxiety mode of I need, or this, this middle one, the victim would really create the I
never have.
Now this would create the like I need because I can't get it myself. And then the anxiety that comes with that and the overthinking, like just let it come into you.
Because there could be this real vulnerable space of like the unknown. I get that a lot, that we're making a lot of choices, or not making a lot of choices based out of the fear of the unknown.
Okay, should I go into this one?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to do those as clarifiers? Is this the end?
This was the middle realm. This is the subconscious.
Okay. Well then, you didn't talk about that one either.
No, just go ahead. I made my mind up.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So what I got to kind of go back is look at the bigger picture. Don't let your pride get in the way of what you're making and what you're doing. Know that you can shapeshift your environment at any time. And what does the mirrors of the partnerships you are currently in look like? And how does that need to be different? And then are you, coming to utilizing some inner strength, some solar plexus chakra to kind of to release harshness, to embrace more love and compassion. And what I get from what's been going on in the past, like maybe since the new moon, is there's this feeling of the Eight of Swords. It's like coming out of this battle, running. So that state of panic of not that those two cards specifically. And still being, this is like fight or flight to me. It's, you don't necessarily have the awareness that the cycle has completed yet, but you're not necessarily in the storm anymore. And then what I get, so this is the feminine, the inner feminine is in this kind of fight or flight aspect. This week, this is the Taurus full moon, the King of Pentacles. Like once you kind of get out of this fight or flight mentality, you're going to notice all that you need, something about gratitude, like taking your perception, instead of looking at all of the chaos, the struggle, the frustrations, the sadness, look at your life and the idea of shapeshift to choose to look at what you do have, is what I kind of see with that. And then going into the future, the feminine is in this aspect of kind of seeing, like, this is the death card, correct? 13? It's like allowing something to let go.
Yes.
So that it's that Pluto energy. It's like once you can start to focus on what is abundant in your life, start to let go, let the old fade away within the feminine energy. So within your emotions, like let those old emotions fade away. What I get from in the masculine energy is the masculine is in the past been looking for this, like how to move forward in a different way, an elevated perspective. So the Libra energy of the masculine is like left, right, left, right, left, right. But like I think they've been going back and forth because they're so strongly identifying with the choice. I want to come forward with the action, not just any action. It's like I'm coming forward with the ace.
Well, the Libra is cardinal, so it wants to come forward, but it gets so caught up in the scales of balance.
Yep. This week, the masculine energy is going to be focused on this divine love. This, I don't feel trapped. I don't feel restricted. Where do I feel like the Libra energy as it comes into Scorpio next week to transform stuff? It's like, it's wanting this. This is what the Ace of Swords is, that the masculine energy is going for. This could be within job, this divine job that you complement with, or it could be a divine relationship that you complement, or taking a pre-existing relationship and elevating it to this status. But this is the divine masculine is like, I want the one, the job, the relationship, the whatever. A very Aquarian like perspective. I want the best. The ideal. And Taurus wants the best. Taurus is like, I only want what is upmost in value to me. I want all the pretty things. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles on the masculine side. So he could be coming forward with, the feminine is, focused on looking at what she does have. The masculine is like, well, I only have this, but this is what I have to give. Is that what you would kind of get from that?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, what is it, the Knight?
Yes.
Yeah, the Knight is more of an amateur, whereas the King is like on his righteous platform. The Knight is working to become the King. He's not yet arrived. He still has something to offer. He's just not at that place where he can just sit back and relax and say anything you want.
Yes. So I'm going to synopsize this just real quick. The feminine is kind of in her head. She's maybe worrying a little bit, emotionally worrying about, what's going on. She needs to uplift her view and look at what she does have, what she does need to be grateful for, and let go of what's not working anymore. The masculine is focused on this one thing, and he is focused on wanting it at its ultimate level, but maybe he might be feeling a little inferior because I only have this one pentacle. I don't have the King of Pentacles. And she is saying to him, well, but what that one pentacle, we should be grateful for it. We could use that one pentacle like the King and be structured and diligent and, utilize it wisely.
Or that's how we become the King.
Or that's
with
how
the
we
structure.
become.
Yeah, because the King is structured.
Yes, because he's learned. And then the clarifier is like, and then that down from spirit, it's like coming from this space. So again, like we have these swans here, and then we have this one here. And it's like the Daughter of Cups is this very beginning level of emotional fulfillment. Okay, so it's like, we know we're a little bit immature in our emotions, but it's like it has to go from the duckling to the beautiful swan. It has this transformative process. So that's what Spirit is trying to tell us, is to know that these emotions are going to evolve. You don't need to worry, and you don't need to I also see this as like being over idealistic.
And the swan totem itself is about grace. Going through that transformation with grace, not being afraid to go through that void, that scorpionic space of like in the earth and with the roots.
Mm-hmm. And then Spirit's talking about like what we need to focus on this week is the Hierophant card, and that's like Mercury's bringing us the key to open the doors to the knowledge that we need to get to this emotional fulfillment. And the reason why, I mostly read for relationship anyways, it just comes through. I got at the end 2 of Cups. That goes with the Lover's card. It goes with all of this dynamic that's shifting, the puffin, the 2. This is ultimate balance within emotional fulfillment, left and right, within duality, okay? And what this says is this could be the one. So notice Spirit is bringing you in the job, the Ace of Swords, the thing that you're going to be able to take action with at your utmost highest level. Feminine energy, stop worrying about it. It's coming. You've already met this romantic partner you seek. So there's already been a job that maybe you've looked into. There's already a relationship that you've already been thinking about. What's been Neptunian in your head playing over and over and over and over again, but you're maybe not be feeling worthy enough to take that step forward into it. But Spirit is showing you whatever has maybe felt obsessive, it's like this could come back around. So notice the signs and synchronicities. But what we need to do, what's causing this worry, is you're in this phase of needing to build, but there's this exchange of communication that needs to happen, and to know that, like, allow yourself to be encouraged that the positive is going to come out of it, no matter what it is. Don't control the outcome, but just know that it'll be positive. Like, let's say that you were to go and tell somebody your feelings, but they don't feel the same way about you. That could be seen as good and bad, because you might not have gotten what you want, but at least you know, so that you can go into a different direction to embrace the new, let the old go and embrace new. What we're dealing with this week is, like, the information is coming. It's coming with the moonlight. There is not enough, and what embraces this why this Lover's card is here is there's the energy. The moon is showing you what is not working. So notice in different areas what relationship dynamics are not working in your life. And then where we're to move into the future is setting the intentions, knowing that you're in this space of growth, and to observe your environment. And the fox came up in, like, several different cards this reading, and I'll let her elaborate on what fox energy means.
Yeah, I have 2 fox cards.
Yep, and I have one. So go ahead.
So the fox is about being sort of camouflaged, being very coy, being very, it's a very adaptable energy. So the fox can actually trick its prey. So it can start playing and make its prey think, oh, we're playing. And so the prey comes out, of its den or whatever safe space it has. And then the fox has won because it's got the prey to be in a vulnerable place. Now, I did draw some fox upright and some fox not upright from the upper realm or the sky realm. I got the fox in reverse, meaning that maybe we have exposed ourselves too much, or there's unknown enemies that we're unaware of. So just be aware, and you said that was in the astrology, to be aware of,
1, 2, 3.
what did you say it was? Be aware of unknown...
Just that scorpionic stuff. Well, and it's
deception.
Like deception.
Okay, deception, yeah. So be aware of the possibility of deception being, I think that's what it all boils down to. That's what this is trying to say. Is the fox, the reverse fox energy is saying be aware of deceptive energies.
And the rest of our cards are saying, as this stuff shows itself to you, be grateful for it, because it's sending you in a new direction.
Right, don't go back to feeling defeated.
Or victimized.
Right. So then in the lower realm, or in our subconscious plane, this card came upside down again. And I often get the subconscious card is face down, meaning like, buried in our subconscious, not always aware to us. So what I get is I've got the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is 10 of Pentacles upright is about abundance, fulfillment. From this deck specifically, it's about sort of home. It's very Cancerian energy, like a home comfort, an abundance.
If you have all the pentacles, you have security.
Yeah, security, of feeling safe at home, emotionally, financially, and that is in reverse, suggesting that we are still fearing a lack of security, a lack of abundance, a lack of this ability to rest and relax, which is probably why the 10 of Swords is being validated by this relaxation. Like, we're not letting ourselves relax because this feeling of defeat has us feeling like we can't relax. We don't have what we need to just, curl up on the sofa with the cats in this picture.
But what comes to me off of that is divine timing. We get stuck in this, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. And it's like when things don't show up, we get nervous and scared, where it's like, just relax. Divine timing is going to bring in the right thing. Don't worry about tomorrow's worries, worry about or deal with what's going on today.
So the clarifier I get with this is inner peace, and that is reversed. And so again, it's about this lack of inner peace because of whatever this defeat or whatever this lack of security is. You know, we're not having this inner peace, which could be causing some detachment on our part. And then I get show all that you care. So don't, so in this place of feeling lack, like you don't feel like you have abundance, so you have a tendency to not want to give. Like, my cup's not full, I can't share any with you. So they're asking us to keep sharing. You just don't know that your cup is being filled, that it is coming in, like trust. And then the last thing that I get on this is to take risks, and this married with your it flew out and fell on leap of faith and bountiful harvest. So what I'm really getting with this is this inner peace and the security is upside down, but this is all an illusion.
That's the 2.
Yeah, this is all this anxiety that's unnecessary. This is all sort of an illusion, and that's why it was face down, upside down, how it came out. Like that is in our subconscious pattern from whatever happened to us, and we really need to release that. Now I'm going to go into the animal cards, which are going to help us understand how to change the energy or how to resolve the conflict that's going on. And starting in the subconscious with this lack of security or abundance, I get the upright turtle, which this is about reconnecting with the earth, which we are on a full moon in Taurus, so this is extremely appropriate to be connecting with the earth.
Well, and even Taurus's polarity of water and earth and water and earth.
Yes, that is a big part of the turtle totem, is this ability to be, in the water and in the earth, depending on, where there is security, where there is abundance. The turtle can both be on land and in water, so it can go between the stability of earth and the emotional waters, be able to adapt.
Well, and think about how a turtle moves in the protection, because we talked a lot about protection on Saturday night.
Yeah.
On dry land, the turtle has its shell, so it's protected, so it has it at all times. When it is in the water, the shell might not necessarily protect it completely, but it becomes and on the earth, it's this clunky, slow-moving animal.
It's faster
but
in
you
the water.
put it in the water, it can, because of the way that the fins are and all of that kind of stuff. So it's like that turtle has protection in each environment and can manage both environments. And in both environments, it's different. It's slow here, but fast there.
Yeah, so I think the reason this is the advice for this is this lack of security is knowing that we have this protection. Even when we're in the emotional waters, like we have everything we need, and if we do need to come up for air, we can. We can still bring our protection into that other realm of earth versus water. So the caution here is not to get so attached to your shell or so attached to your security that you become blinded by tunnel vision with just that security. Now you're dragging around this gigantic shell or shield or something that is actually separating you from being able to get into that emotional water, to be able to get into that fertile ground, to embrace love. Know when to stick your neck out so the turtle goes into its shell for protection, and if it stayed there for ever, it would starve to death. It's got to know when it can reach its head back out, stick your neck out, and then come back into the world. And then the other thing is, the turtle knows when to. This is a cute joke. When to log time with friends. So you see, the turtles all laying on the logs in the sun.
Oh,
They know when to
relax.
They know when to. Okay, now it's time to just sit in the sun with our buddies and relax. So there's a lot of that's going to help us feel better about that lack of security. So in the middle realm, where we had the defeat, all the different options, and the overthinking anxiety, what they're recommending to help us with those situations, to get over those challenges, is I get the beaver in reverse. And the beaver upright is a very, very strong builder. He's very industrious and he's very committed. We got this upright a few weeks ago, and it was about keep working, and diligence. When it's upside down, there is a fear of again, this parts with this, you know, if you're feeling
My
defeated,
house
then
always gets broken.
then you're not even, are you even working? Are you being lazy? Because now you're like, like nothing's gonna work, so I might as well just do nothing. And then also, you know, the beaver does also is another animal that can be on, you know, works with wood, it builds its dam, then it goes into the water, so it's in and out of the water. You know,
a lot
are
about in
you,
and out of water.
yeah, are you damming the emotional flow into your life? You know, because of this defeat, or because of this anxiety, or the inability to relax. You know, how are you damming up the emotional flow of your life? So that's the beaver in reverse. And then in the sky realm, again, going back to that fox, we got it in reverse. Upright, it's about, you know, being camouflaged, being unseen, being able to investigate and not be seen. Oh, there it is. So are you in your scorpionic, you know, investigation as we're going through Mercury retrograde?
Because it's in the sky realm.
Oh,
Where
like
your
it's
intuition
you're
is
blocking?
leading no, where your intuition is leading you to what is being hidden from you.
Oh, yeah,
Because
it
that's
could
in
be
the
that.
sky realm.
Yeah, so upright, you know, is sort of camouflage, very adaptable. So in the reverse, you know, it's are we being adaptable? Are we being able to see the things that are being revealed to us? You know, are we looking away at these things that are being revealed to us? And even like kind of similar to the coyote, like they can trick their own selves. Like, you know, by, you know, looking away, you're tricking your own self by not looking at the information. Did you want to say anything else about fox? And then the last card I get is, and this is the overall, oh no, I have two more cards, sorry. The advice. So Spirit's advice here is smoky mirror. So just before, I'm going to read on this from the book because it's a very in-depth description, but smoky mirror in general is just, you know, we've seen a lot of twos over here in her reading, really about this reflection and like the fog sort of covering it. And are we seeing it clearly? You know, are we seeing that reflection, what it's trying to tell us clearly? So just reading from the book, because this is a very in-depth meaning, the smoky mirror represents the aspects of what is implied, yet but cannot be immediately known in the world. So I think this goes right back to the fox of, you know, being unseen, and that's not yet culminated to be seen yet.
Or
so having
it is
patience with
seen
that.
and you don't want to see it, so you're looking away.
That's definitely, that could be, okay, the mystery of how things come together and how they fall apart without obvious causality. Again, so the things that are being revealed, are we willing to see them? This symbol also represents the shadow of the human psyche, so that brings us down to the shadow realm, or the lower world. The part of the self that disown, so the part of yourself you disown. So this part of you that is not feeling secure, that you are not acknowledging because it's so deep in the traumatic subconscious. The smoky mirror can also represent a state of denial, there you are, or the inability or refusal to see the truth.
Or when you're okay, so when we see the mirror of the people that come in front of us, of the things that we don't really like.
It's the you judgment of the other without recognizing it's a reflection of the self. Yeah.
Or making the choice of the change, where it's like you used to be at a vibrational match with this energy, and it's like one of the people has outgrown the other one, and so there's this need to like let go of your shadow that used to be a representation of who you are, to draw in your higher self or a higher vibration
that was matched with that person, and that's releasing that shadow. Yeah. Okay, so going on with that, these are really very in depth, so it may take a while to get through it. When the symbol of the smoky mirror appears, you're invited to see beyond your own self. Acknowledge that past the limits of your current ability to perceive, there is vast, interconnected worlds, where events are orchestrated in divine order, but challenging to grasp. So again, that gratitude to accept that. Now is the time to trust that no matter what the current conditions in your world reflect, in the hidden realms of all aspects of the human journey are celebrated. These are all coming together now, that celebration card. The beauty and the darkness, the misery and the courage, No matter where you are on the journey, know that some things are meant to be a mystery, which are meant to understand only through experience. So again, coming
You
up
have to walk
to that
through it.
edge and not refusing to look at it. Take heart, for the smoky mirror will ultimately show you beauty and wonder once the fog lifts and the distortion you see now. So that you're looking at it and it's foggy, and it's the ability to continue to look even though you can't see.
But I want to touch on that. Bring the astrology into this. Is David talked a lot about that fog is going to get lifted. Mercury conjunct the sun, this full moon, the stuff that we don't want to see is going to come to light. It's universal. It's divine timing. It's magnetically being brought out in front of you where you can't deny it. Like she was saying earlier in our reading, where it's like we ignore it, and then all of a sudden it's like the universe kind of is gonna orchestrate it out in front of you, so the truth is revealed anyway.
I see it like a parent, like, I told you 6 times and now I'm mad.
Yep.
Okay, the last paragraph here is understanding the shadow of the human journey requires that you go deep into the story to discover the wounds that prevent you from seeing the truth of your current situation. Your fears and expectations of disappointment and unworthiness may be clouding your capacity to see the potential in yourself and others. The smoky mirror may be showing you things you don't want as a result of your conditioning. These can become even more real, but only because you are making it so. The choice is yours. The world,
choose your reality.
Yeah, the world will hold you accountable to what you see and create. Can you see through the eyes of truth and faith instead? So that is the advice from Spirit. And then the last card I have is the remedy or the medicine. And I get the olive card. And the olive is for extreme exhaustion, especially following emotional trauma and illness. I would definitely say that looks like emotional trauma to me. And the olive tree has always symbolized good health and longevity. In ancient folklore, priests and kings were anointed with olive oil, and athletes at the Olympic Games, the victors were crowned with olive leaves. So this is about the zest of life. And when I worked at that acupuncture clinic, we always used olive oil, and he always made a point of telling the patients that olive oil, if you put it on your body every night or every morning, it's like taking an Advil. It helps reduce inflammation. So that's the medicinal benefit of actual olive oil. So the remedy is recommended in form of flower essences. So they're either called Bach flower essences or just flower essences. You can find these at health food stores. This may help us get through this week, this Mercury retrograde, that feeling of exhaustion. It's just going to help us be able to look beyond, the smoky mirror that we're really, feeling exhausted, having a hard time seeing, and pull us into seeing our reality and truth.
Mm-hmm. Or when that smoky mirror gets pulled away and you see the instant clarity and you're like, whoa, wait.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to tie up mine. So at the end, and then I'm going to kind of go up and do the outline cards because I only touched on them real quick. So what I get as the main theme to kind of go off of what she was just saying is the astrology is going to show you, I want you, it's all about focusing on what's positive. Where do you notice that there's positive energy? Where do you feel like your cup is being filled? Where is the laughter happening in your life? Where is the laughter not happening in your life? And where have you been trying to get the laughter back, but it's not culminating, okay? And then on top of that is to break free from that, or to embrace that more, is going to take a leap of faith. So wherever something is urging you to maybe go into the unknown, take it one step at a time. I feel like from the card that comes after that is that by taking that leap of faith, we're inviting some kind of positive harvest, some kind of beautiful culmination. But it's going to take you going into the unknown just a little bit. And as from the angels are telling us, we have the 9 of Cups. Your wishes come true. So if you kind of go in the direction where the laughter and the joy and go into that unknown a little bit. At the end, what it's saying is like the culmination is going to happen, but it's going to happen over, you know, a little bit of a time, one step at a time. Because as you walk into it, the concerns that you had, that you were worried about, you're actually going to be in it, and you'll be able to see what it is and manage through it. So these concerns are going to fade away because you're actually going to be walking through it, dealing with them. And then a love for life. So there's going to be, maybe you're coming out of a situation where you don't feel like you have this love or passion for life anymore. Maybe the job's been sucking you dry, or blah, 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 blah. And taking this leap of faith is going to revitalize you with that heart chakra. I'm going to come up, and I feel like there's been this job, this person, this situation, this relationship that's been circling around you. What shows me is like Twisted, when Rapunzel keeps swinging around the guy. It's like it keeps showing you what it is. So there's something that's been coming in, the job, the situation, the house, the whatever it is, but that you've been observing. You've been setting your intentions through your dreams, your wishes, and your prayers, but you got to step out of what feels like it's frozen, like if there's no life left in it anymore. Going up through the middle, it's like, well, there had to be this death of something, okay? So you had to emotionally let something go to kind of embrace something that you might be a little naive about, like physically going forward with. Look for the keys that Spirit's going to bring in for you. Spirit is going to, just as these challenges are coming up, the universe is bringing in the blessings to back it up behind it. So look for the messages that are showing you how to move forward. The moon, as the moon phases, like these keys, these specific keys, this valuable information is going to come through divine timing. The universe is showing you what is not working within how you feel in your heart chakra. You're seeing what's not, and what's blocking you from this divine love, this divine companionship. And then going up to the top, it's like you have to release your ex, exchange gifts, but I see the exchange gifts as the exchange of communication, to how we're going to build together so that you don't have to worry anymore. It's like if you start literally taking steps forward, you don't have this senseless worry of like that 2 of Cups or 2 of whatever, 2 of Pentacles versus the 8 of Swords. These 2 cards together. Mm-hmm. It's like if you literally start exchanging communication and release relationships and situations that no longer serve you, then you're going to be able to build something going forward. It just might take you to this emotional space of doing something new. But you're going to be able to, you're focused on that one thing. So again, I get laser point focus, and place yourself in situations that are encouraging you, not that are discouraging you, cutting you down, taking your personal power away. And then I'm going to come all the way up to the top because again, it's 11/11, and it went, the Mercury Sun conjunction happened at 11/11 today, so there's a lot of that going on today. So my main 2 cards is this focus on partnership. How does your community feed you, and how do you fit in and amplify your community? So looking at that, and also, knowing that you can shift at any time. Okay, you always have the potential to make a different choice. It just takes strength to work through it and to maneuver through it, and sometimes embracing what's hard. And then as our moon cards, you have one more moon card. As the 3 moon cards are speaking, they're saying, don't let pride get in your way. Look at the big picture, and it's a time to give rather than take.
The 3 overalls. Okay, are you good?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple other things to recommend for this full moon that I brought. I've got some stones. We obviously have our rose quartz. This was the big rose quartz I used for the ritual with the soap in the kit we did, but there are smaller ones. You can get a very small one. The other one is malachite, also for the heart space
Protection.
The selenite, I have a small one, and a wand for purification. And then I have an essential oil that I like called Joy. And so Joy I like to use for grief, heartache, self-love, anything like that. This is through Young Living. You can purchase it through the website. And I literally will put it on my heart space. If I have people that come in with depression, anything like that, this is one of my go-tos. I'm really loving this one right now. It just smells so good.
That one, and for me, is surrender, because I'm a fixed sign.
And then just going back to our full moon package, wrapping up with that. We briefly talked about it, so we'll kind of talk a little bit more.
Can I touch on it first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what we talked about this weekend is we were coming up with what we were really kind of hoping that you would utilize it and how to utilize it. So we're thinking that to kind of initiate a little ritual that you do and how to use it is maybe to sit down and write out your intentions. How do you write your full moon intentions real quick?
Okay, so when I do my full moon, I always think of it as clearing away whatever is getting in the way of what I want. So I will intentionally, have my piece of paper. You can do it in a journal. If you do it in a journal, I like to rip it out to release it.
She likes to burn things.
I do like to burn things. I try to go along with the elements of what we're in. So in like a Taurus full moon, you might bury it. I really like fire, so I burn things a lot, even if it's not.
You could release the
element.
ashes into the dirt.
Oh yes, see,
or bury
I
it. Bury the
burn
ashes.
things. Yeah, so I would write down, and I always use it the way I speak in it is, I'll write my full moon release, and I'll say that I have released. So not I am releasing. I state it as if it already is in the past, and that is actually. Psychologically in the brain, it helps you process things. So in writing that way, it processes it in the brain as if it's already done, which then convinces your brain, because your brain,
to initiate it into your cycle.
Right, to put it into your psyche, to put that into your subconscious, like you're already convinced that you're doing that. And based on psychology, it really doesn't matter whether something is true or not. It's whether we tell ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's whatever we tell ourselves.
And what we manifest is our thoughts.
Yes.
So retraining our brain to think in a certain pattern helps with that. Okay, so writing the stuff out that you are wanting to release. And then what we were thinking is, so first writing that stuff down so that you have this conscious awareness of what it is that you're wanting to let go. Then with the soap, what we were hoping with that is either to take a bath or some kind of getting into the water element. So the opposite of Taurus is water. So getting into the water environment and soap cleanses us, right? So setting that intention while you're utilizing the soap to wash away anything that is no longer necessary anymore. Because the Scorpio full moon is all about kind of like how Jesus would take you, and not to get all religious, but take it however you want, is when he would, the baptism. So it's like you're washing away all of this stuff that no longer serves you.
Washing away the subconscious barriers.
Yes. And then can you tell us about the soap, what your intention was with
Yeah, so I had a pound of rose quartz. You can see that there are the crystals right inside the soap there. And I separated them into 2 equal groups. And one was labeled I love me, and one was labeled I love you. So the self-love to fill my own cup, and then the love that I can have to share with a partner. And they were buried outside. This large one, like I said, was used in the ritual. This was in the center. I had the 2 piles on each side. They were buried into the ground. That is the way that rose quartz is naturally cleansed. So to re-alchemize with the earth's energy. And these were buried on my peninsula, so surrounded 3 sides by water, 1 side by land, with cedar and willow and oak trees for 1 week before the new moon in Scorpio. And then I took them in, I cleansed them, still in 2 separate containers, and then I put them back into mason jars, and then it was labeled I love me, I love you. It was filled with the lake water. And then willow was put into the I love me, so that's to release bitterness, to purify the heart. And then the I love you, I put oaken for strength, and then aspen for anxiety. So when you're engaging in trusting, or I thought about that as trust. When you want to trust somebody and have
have
a
a
relationship,
conversation.
then I need to have strength, and I have to have, my anxiety under control so I can give and receive equally. And so then those went back outside onto the peninsula in the jars for, I don't know, a few more nights. And then they came in, and then I used them to put them in the soap. So they went through quite a transition of different energies, a lot of plant herbal medicine energies going into them, and earth and water elements.
And I'm going to ask you for the clarification because I don't have my notes. So and then once we get into, after you get out of the shower, we're going to nourish, and because whenever we shed something away, we need to add something to it, right? So then as we have taken all this stuff off, now we need to, word is escaping, re-moisturize the environment. So water, to add water back to the environment. And so what we had decided for the essential oil was the ylang ylang. And she's going to tell you a little bit about what ylang ylang stands for.
So ylang ylang helps us, this is straight from your verbiage, by the way,
Okay.
release negative emotions such as anger, possessiveness, and low self-esteem, as well as nourish positive emotions of confidence, self-love, and spiritual awareness.
And so when I made this, speaking of joy, when I was making this lotion, the stones that I put in the environment, I did a lot of personal power and rose quartz. So yellow calcite and rose quartz was put into the water that went into this, as well as and that's the Leo, the ability to embrace that inner child and to dance and to be joyful. And then the rose quartz for unconditional love. And then I played very specific songs while I was making this, to kind of encourage that feeling, the feelings that were portrayed through that form of art. And then was saying very specific mantras about self-love, self-empowerment as I was mixing the lotion together. It has been charging on my altar with rose quartz and the yellow calcite. I have two huge stones that are back in my room. And with the idea of being able to transform the swans, it was sitting right with them. So inviting that energy, sorry, I have Pisces moon. Inviting that energy to come in and kind of embrace that. The third one that is in the kit, and then to put after you take the bath or to wear on a daily basis as a reminder of mindfulness, is the rose quartz bracelet with one rosewood bead on it. And with that same intention, which we both did on our own without even communicating about it. She did that, with the idea of them and me and them, or whatever, self-love versus outward love. The one rosewood is about remembering as you go through, not to always just focus on everybody else showing unconditional love, but to show yourself unconditional love as well.
Well, from the Aries aspect, I always think of it as, if my cup's not full, I can't give any love. So I think it always starts with starts with self-love. And then once I'm emotionally at a place of abundance, then if I'm at abundance, I can give.
Share it.
So that's why there are two in there. Thinking of those two in there is, one is for you, for your own self-love, and the other one is for the other. So that could be someone you want to draw in your life, the partner you have in your life, a friendship, even outside of a romantic context, whatever that looks like to you. I also have the mantras if you want me to read those.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have a couple affirmations that we included in this and wanted to be part of this ritual, and it was, I have forgiven myself for all the mistakes I have made in my life. So that's the self-love. And then the love with the other is, I am filled with love and trust for others. So this is all focused on the heart chakra. Symptoms of blockages could include hardness of heart, grief, sadness, loss, wounds in the heart that are often that could be afflicted by females in our life. So maybe our
The
mothers.
mother, the North Node in Cancer.
Yes, yes. So this heart chakra, sometimes known as Christ consciousness, is literally in the center of all of our chakras. So we have 3 above chakras, 3 lower chakras, and then 1 in the middle. And it's sort of this like, I see it as this like alchemizing energy in the center that really is the transformer. So if we think about, Scorpio as the transformation, Taurus is on the other side where that
Comes into
abundance of
physical.
love, so it's almost like I see the heart as like the Scorpio comes through here, transforms, and then what comes out is the Taurus. It's the Phoenix that comes out because of the transformation that can happen in the heart space. And that's, again, you talked about having that gratitude, is these terrible things can happen in our life, but if we are able to find some gratitude for them, we absolutely transform them, rise like the Phoenix through whatever the situation is, and then, become our best self from an unconditional heart space.
And we're living the Christ consciousness.
Yes.
We're embracing it.
Yeah, so the idea of this kit is to cleanse away anything blocking you from unconditional love for yourself or from another. The barriers to our heart's desires are often not very complicated. They're often quite simple, such as negative self-esteem talk, a belief that we don't deserve love, or in psychology called shame schema, childhood conditioning, or even trauma. So this kit was designed specifically for this full moon, but it goes beyond this full moon. Anytime we're wanting to cultivate self-love or draw on a love relationship or work on anything within that heart space, this still will apply. So we will have that available beyond the full moon. But we definitely recommend working with rose quartz this full moon.
Rose quartz, ylang ylang, and joy essential oil for sure.
And then this was Palmarosa and Rose.
And Palmarosa and Rose. Yep. So a lot of heart chakra connections. The last stuff that I kind of just off the notes from the other astrologers that I followed that I just want to kind of highlight a little bit is we're kind of moving into trying to connect with our higher selves, kind of shedding these old shadow aspects within us, not living in fear and mistrust, but moving more towards unconditional love and compassion. What does it mean to you? What does your life path mean to you? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of person do you want to be known for? Different things are going to come up in your awareness over the next couple weeks that are going to expose different situations, different truths, different realities to you. There's going to be a need to take action. Work on your attitude. That's really what I think comes down to both of our readings, and even the rose quartz and the rose essential oil and the joy. It's your attitude that creates the environment or the experience of how you move through things. And look to the past 12 years of your life and really taking some time to reflect, maybe in that bath, of how you have evolved. Like every day, sometimes I know when I was running, I would go out and do these track workouts, and it's like I had this ultimate goal of like doing this certain race time, but it was like every track thing or every race that I would go to, in my past, I never gave myself any credit for what I did in that race. I was always thinking, oh, well, if I had tweaked that, I would have done better. If I would have done this, I would have done better. I didn't spend that time saying, you know what? You just did a really good job for whatever it was. So it's like sometimes we don't see, or, 12 races before this, you've come so far. So it's like looking over the past 12 years of your life, this is a huge cycle that's ending and you are restarting new ones. And do you want to start it in a positive, loving environment, or do you want to stay and continue to repeat old cycles? Because those cycles are going to get, I'm just going to be honest with you, from a spiritual perspective and an astrological perspective, if you embrace those old cycles, they're not going to get better. It's going to help, it's going to wilt your flower more, is the only way that I can really say that. Embracing your power, embracing the things that you're good at. Mike talked a lot about in his broadcast, and I'm going to end on this, is what is your superpower? And your superpower might not be anything psychic or intuitive or like superheroes or anything like that. Your gift might be that you're a really calming person and you have the ability to calm people down. your gift might be that in April is amazing at mediation. Like she can come in between two people and give a very fair and just. So that would be April's
Double-edged
superpower.
sword.
It is. She always feels like monkey in the middle.
Yes.
But it's like, but that is her
That's a
superpower.
yeah.
It is her superpower. So what is yours? And are you utilizing that to the very best of your ability? And are you complemented with others? Are you in complementary environments, or are you in environments that are kind of not letting you shine like you should? Because the world needs you. Yeah, the world needs you and your special, unique gifts. So do you have anything to close with? I'm done.
Nope. Rose quartz up this full moon. It's my advice.
All right. Thank you so much for watching.
Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, last thing. Check out our websites. It's either anewmoonllc.com. We're going to put those links below, and sacredrootsgrow.com.
Yep.
Same thing if you want to look up our handles on Facebook. So yeah, that's it. All right. Namaste.
Happy full moon.